How were you first introduced to Random Us?
How was I first introduced to Random Us? I received a phone call from Patrick, and I hadn't spoken to Patrick for 2 or 3 years, and he calls me out of the blue and says, "I wrote a play, I want you to be in my play." And I said, "Okay." And he said, "Don't you want to read the script first?" I'm like, No, it's okay. Just go ahead and send it." It's a yes.
Tell us about the role you play.
Tell us about the role. I actually play 4 roles. My first role when I come out is Lenny, Denny's best friend Lenny. Lenny and Denny, it's funny. Then later on I play Denny's father, which is my most favorite but most challenging. And I come out as Stephen, and then finally as Peter. So I play 4 roles, and Peter is Denny and Daisy's son.
What is your favorite random memory?
Random memory. My favorite random memory is when we were at St. Paul's when we first put on Random for the first time in Northport. And Patrick said to us, for the second show, he says, "This might be the last time Random ever sees a stage, so have fun and do what you want." So I was supposed to go around stage left. When I entered the stage from the audience, I come up from the audience, and I'm supposed to enter stage left where there's nobody. And instead, I decided to burst through the door, stage right, where the entire stage crew was standing, and I nearly decapitated one of the stagehands, Nick, who was thoroughly surprised. And I burst through the door and said, "This is Terminal 6." And I think that was my favorite, was the stunned look on their faces when a person who's actually in a scene bursts through the door and starts talking to the stage crew. I think that was my favorite.
What does going to Fringe mean to you?
Going to Fringe. It's a great opportunity for everyone involved in this production to make a great leap forward in their career. Even if this is the pinnacle, even if this is the top, this is the best thing we ever do, I will be very proud to have said I was on stage with this incredibly talented group of people in the greatest city on earth. So it means that we get to be on stage in New York, but it's also a great opportunity, especially I think the best opportunities for Patrick to go on, because the world needs to see this beautiful play.
Tell us something about yourself that the world may not know.
Something about it the world may not know. How I started in theater. How about that? A very good friend of mine when I was about 25 years old. I'd never been on stage. I'd never done anything. And a very good friend of mine calls me and says, "How'd you like to be in a murder mystery?" Because he had been in dinner theater murder mysteries. And he says, how would you like to be in one? I said, "Sure." He says, "Okay, drive up to this restaurant. We'll give you a script." So I drove to this restaurant. And it happened to be in Northport. And it was about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I drove up to this restaurant. And he says, "Here's the script." I said, "Okay, when's the show?" He said, "In about 2 hours." "What do you mean? I can't go on stage. I've never even acted before." And so for about an hour, I had to sweat out reading through the script, dreading putting on a Peter Pan costume. Luckily, the actor showed up, and I didn't have to do it. But yeah, my introduction to theater was, "Here's your script. You'll be on in 2 hours."
Tell us something about. Oh wait, I didn't read the half of it.
That's right.
Okay, I'll do that one at the end. Who is the biggest random diva?
Who's the biggest random diva? That's a tight contest. That's a very big race. It's got to be me. It's got to be me. I have to have everything just right. I have to have, my 3 dressing rooms, 4 dressing rooms for my 4 different characters. You can't have the same dressing room for each character. And, I have to have my muffin basket, and apple cut in eighths. It's got to be just right. It's me.
What are you taking away from this process?
Taking away from this process. I don't know. A great experience. That's kind of a generic answer, but I don't know. well, I got to meet some very interesting, wonderful people that I'm happy to get to know. To get the experience to be in this wonderful play, that deeply emotional, funny and sad and everything in between play, to get the experience of putting that on stage for the first time, because I know it's not going to be for the last. This can be on stage many, many times.
Any random rituals that you can share with us?
Random rituals. We have to make sure to take our acting pills. We always take our acting pills before every show. We always have, right before each show, we have or after, I think it's at the end of the rehearsals or the beginning of the show, we always have a group prayer. I guess you call it a group prayer. It's like an empowerment discussion about, we're going to be great and do the best that we can.
Tell us something about a random team member that the world may not know.
Random team member. I got to think about this one. Can I talk about Patrick?
Yeah.
Oh. Patrick just now watching this just went, oh no. Okay, how do I know Patrick? I'll tell you what the world doesn't know before this is that when earlier I spoke about being in the murder mysteries, that's how I met Patrick. He was also in the Dinner Theater Murder Mysteries, and the fun part about the Dinner Theater Murder Mysteries was the characters were very over the top. There was no holding back if you were a character, and Patrick was no exception. In fact, he was our role model for over-the-top characters. He was the loudest, least filtered character that there ever was. That guy, who you're not supposed to be listening. So, Patrick was a wonderful, wonderful murder mystery character actor.
Now, can you please pull something out? Pull a name. Sorry.
Pull out of this hat.
Yeah. Pull out.
Yeah.
And tell us something about the character.
Something about... I got Nick. About Nick. Okay, I can tell you exactly about Nick. Nick is a great helper in this project. He's a wonderful person. He's great. He's great to work with. He's a lot of fun. And Nick is the person that I nearly decapitated with the door as I entered stage right for my opening scene. And when I saw the door open, I nearly hit him with the door, and he's standing there like, what are you doing? This is not supposed to be happening. So that is my favorite moment with Nick. Is also one of my favorite moments of all time. Funny that I got Nick. That's great.
Well, thank you very much, and